All right, thank you, Heather. Time now 7:47, and it is time for Ask the Attorney. Today we're talking about auto accidents. David Gordon joins us live here in the studio to answer some of your important questions from viewers. Good morning, David. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Jim.
Okay, so Paula in Olive Branch starts us out. She says, I was seriously injured when a driver on Goodman Road crashed into my car as I turned left. A witness says he was speeding, but his insurance company is not paying hospital bills, which are huge. What can Paula do?
Well, the interesting thing about this is that it happened in Mississippi, because the answer is very different because she's in Mississippi than if someone had been in Tennessee. In Mississippi, if she can show, that is, if she can find that witness, and that witness will say, as she believes, that the other driver was speeding, then the accident is probably the fault of both drivers. Remember, when you're at a light and you're turning left, you're under a duty to yield to oncoming traffic. So she's going to share in the fault. But in Mississippi, even if she's 50% at fault, the other driver has to pay 50% of her bills and her pain and suffering and her lost earnings. So finding that witness is critical.
Okay.
And that's often true in these car accidents. Beg witnesses to stay.
All right. Good point there. Now, Tamika in Raleigh says, my husband was killed last month in a motorcycle accident that was not his fault. I have no idea what we are entitled to for compensation. The insurance company is calling me. Where do I start?
Well, wrongful death claims are a little different. You know, in an ordinary claim, we start with pain and suffering, and we do that with her husband's claim too. But so we don't know how long he suffered. We don't know how long he suffered before he died. So that's a factor. Then another big factor in his case is what kind of earning capacity did he have? We look at a person's earnings over their projected lifetime, and we make that part of the claim. So that could be a tremendous piece of what she's entitled to. I could go on, but I see we've got a few more questions, and I know I don't have much more time.
All right, David, we'll go over to Ronnie in East Memphis. An insurance company is promising to pay my medical bills and give me $10,000 for an ankle injury I got in a car wreck a few months ago. I now have a plate with screws holding my ankle together. Does this sound fair?
Well, this question goes to the age of the viewer. In other words, he's entitled to be paid for a permanent injury. So that's payment for the lifetime of the problem he's going to have from that ankle. The problem he has difficulty walking, running, jumping. I don't know exactly what the problems are. I don't know whether he's an athlete or not. These things matter, and again, it matters how old he is, because let's say he's 40 years old, he's entitled to another 40 years of payment for that injury.
And finally, Alex in Germantown asks, what does it mean to be board certified?
Well, you can imagine I get this question a lot. And what it means is that a board, a panel of lawyers that was appointed by the Tennessee Supreme Court, has reviewed my experience, my skill, my knowledge, my reputation, and given me a stamp of approval.
All right, so David, it sounds like the big takeaway today is get as much information and talk to as many people as you can right after the accident, if you can, correct?
Very important. Beg those witnesses to stay and give their version to the police.
All right, finally, if people want to get a hold of you for some help or have other questions, how do they do it?
Call me at 818-4889, and I'll be glad to speak with you.
A lot of different scenarios out there. David Gordon, thank you for joining us today on Ask the Attorney.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, coming up, we have a road closure that you need to be aware of this morning. We'll show you what it is after the break. You're watching Fox 13's Good Morning Memphis. It is 7:51. We're back after this.
Track storms from your desktop or smartphone with the new Fox13Memphis.com.
Whether you're a rock star or dreaming of being one, Consignment Music has everything you need. Consignment Music has new and used music equipment for the beginner and the professional. Everything for every musician. Come see us today.